QPR, QPR, this Park Rangers are on the up and up. QPR, QPR, now we're heading for European Cup.
Hello and welcome to Open All R's, the QPR podcast. This is the second podcast of our 7th season. Congratulations, Paul and everyone else. I'm David Fraser. I'm joined by, there's 4 of us around this table tonight, after a very good Saturday. First of all, pod regular and founder, Paul Finney.
Founder?
Well,
co-founder.
Co-founder.
Let's not get above ourselves.
No, indeed.
And General Dog's body.
Well, you said that, not me. We also have 2 big QPR fans. We've got Rahul Desai and we have Mel Huckridge and lots to talk about. So before we go on to, I think, what was an unexpected but very gratefully received result on Saturday, let me do the kind of bits and pieces that I need to do at the start of the podcast. First of all, if this is your first time listening to us, welcome. You can follow us on Twitter at QPRPod. Please follow us and send us any suggestions and comments on the podcast. You can find us on Facebook, and our website is at qprpod.co.uk, where you can listen to all old episodes. We have, we're very lucky, we're supported by loads of listeners who are very kind to us. One of them is Tony Ryan, who came up on the podcast last week. Tony has bought us the beers tonight. Now, it's very nice of him, but probably we should be buying him the beers, Paul, because you guys talked about him last week.
Well, yeah, because his son's really ill in intensive care in Southampton Hospital, so hopefully this week will be a better week for the family and recovery will be on the way. So thoughts for Tony and his family at this time.
Indeed, and thank you for supporting us, Tony. Also, this episode is sponsored by Ian Fraser, no relation.
Seriously?
Seriously, I don't know Ian, but he seems like a very nice guy.
Would be if he was a member of your family.
And he has asked us, all he's asked, no ad, nothing, just asked us to read this out, which is firstly, give a big thanks to you guys at the pod from supporters like me who can't make it to many games and get a fan's view of the team and club. Hearing the sort of conversations you have in the pub after the match is a treat when you can't make it to the match. If you could also please give a shout out to Accrington Stanley Bowls, players past and present, who are easily the finest supporters club team the world has ever seen, and the guys up in P Block, that'd be smashing.
Actually, you can actually go on the Accrington Stanley Bowls Twitter account. They're desperate for players. They need more QPR fans. Mel, are you still playing these days?
53 with a dodgy Bertie knee? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well,
I've never heard that rhyming slang for a knee, but that is fantastic.
Hands crankle, Bertie makes right. It's
great.
Hands crankle, the greatest one ever.
I like that.
I didn't actually understand the accent.
Well,
I have no clue what's going on, but I also am surprised that. Are you sure that was sponsored by Ian Fraser or David Fraser? It was a
definitely not me. Definitely not me. Definitely not me. I have never met Ian in my life, as far as I know. So not mine. There's also very few relatives of mine called Fraser, so he's not one of mine. But it's very nice of him to support us anyway. Thank you, Ian. Let's actually get on with talking about the Reading game. What's a lovely first day of the season. Paul, your thoughts on it?
I thought it was superb. I mean, I was dreading it, as you know. We called it last week as a kind of we'll win, of course we will. Not actually thinking we will win. No one knew what was going on. And then the team comes out, he's tinkered it at the last minute. You're thinking, but we were sublime in midfield. It's the best midfield performance we've had for a long time since the days of Fallen, where we actually totally controlled it and did everything right. The penalty was I the only one thinking get someone else to take it, because Washington was taking too long. They're trying to psych him out, and I thought this is going to go wrong.
No, he's a forward. If you're going to take,
I know, but
forward,
the games. But I mean, I thought the red card.
Shoek fancied it though, didn't he?
Yeah.
If a bloke's up for taking it, let him take it unless it's the Syrian president who was in goal for Chelsea yesterday.
Really? Oh yeah. But sorry, a bit slow.
Long, a bit like him.
Yeah. It's sad, isn't it? You never see them together, do you?
That'd be about right for them. And I thought we played really well. I thought Washington looked superb on Saturday. It's one of his best games. Hopefully he can build on that. And it's got to be said, we have got the best keeper in this league by a country mile. That's saved by Smithies and that, though. He's just
as well, isn't it, really? Yeah.
It's just brilliant.
It was a brilliant save. That really deserves just a little mention on its own. But
fantastic.
It was a brilliant save. You watched it again.
It's even better on TV.
Yeah, that's a great save.
I mean, we are lucky to have him.
I mean, that's really all he had to do. But it was a brilliant save. You've got to do it when you have to do it. So it was a brilliant save.
To think we kept him out of the team for so long as well when he first joined.
And Rob Green was iffy at the time, wasn't he? So
It's weird, isn't it? Because
well,
is he good enough, Mel? Do you think, to play for Northern Ireland?
I think he's English.
I don't care about that. Let's get a campaign. No, I'd say another thing. I've got to say hello to the fella who spoke to me after the match and came and said, read of the podcast, blah, 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 and all that, which is very nice. But I was such a shock that we won 2-0. I was just like, whatever, what podcast? I don't even know what you're talking about. Because I was genuinely shocked because it was pre-season has been pissing. We said this in the pub,
Don't people look too much into pre-seasons?
But don't people also look too much into the first game of the season and the first result of the season?
Right, I would say one thing here, or a few things. Reading were poor. Reading were all. They nearly became a team, probably the worst team to ever get promoted last year. I mean, they're only a couple of penalty kicks away from going up. Yeah. And they just didn't look a very good side of it, but they managed to get there. So I think they had a couple of players out maybe Saturday, but they just didn't look a lot. I mean, our midfield played fantastically well. We pressed well. Scowen did a very good job of ball winning. And Luongo and Freeman freed up around him. Solak is a decent winger. I mean, he feeds Lewandowski for Poland. And we've got with Manny and Borishuk. Borishuk didn't get much of a chance last year, so I'm not that bothered. Midfield, I think we look quite strong, but up front in the pre-season we were playing Smith in Berlin and games like that. So everyone thought we were going to play two wingers and just chuck it into his head. But I think he picked a team tactically on Saturday to press their defence, which was on the ball. They weren't very comfortable, the Reading team at the back, and I think Rangers played on that a bit. I think it was a foul for our first goal. Freeman pushed the bloke, but we played well. Our midfield ran the game, didn't it? Really, that was the key. Our defence didn't really have to do it a lot because Reading weren't up to much. A bit like Leeds last year. I thought Leeds were going to get relegated after that first game last season, and then they turned it around straight away because they were shocking at Rangers last year. Leeds.
They were. Rahul, you weren't here, but you have been on a few times, and you've often talked of your love for QPR player. As in the video service, you're a keen student of that, so I'm assuming you watched the game.
No, I did. I streamed the game on the new service from the US, and it actually was an excellent service. And
oh, really? Is it good?
Yeah, credit to Andy Sinton, and I don't know who the play-by-play commentator was, but he did a very good job, whoever the other person that was on the broadcast. But it was an excellent service. But yeah, no, it was an incredible experience watching it at home. I was going a little bit crazy. My parents were confused when I was jumping up and down after the first goal, but... Yeah, no, exactly. I think last year we criticized Holloway so much towards the end of the season for tinkering, but I think the decision to bring on Mackey actually was a masterstroke at the end of the day, and curious to see what our formation is going to be now, because it looked like we set up in something resembling a 3-5-2, and Holloway said he wants to go with one system, so I wonder if that's what we're going to be playing from now on.
Maybe, but tell you one thing we did do really well on Saturday. Mackey was lucky to stay on the pitch, if I'm being honest.
He certainly should be put. Yeah, I mean, I know that one. Make sure you know he's there, but the bloke's got Adidas in the back of his leg now, and or Nike, whatever boots.
But we did that though, haven't we? We've needed that for a long time.
No, look, but they mixed it as well. I thought the ref let a lot go on Saturday. Both teams. Yeah. There were two aerial challenges of their players. One on Lynch, one on Bidwell. And
yes.
They were late coming in. Yeah. And the ref didn't even give fouls, and I thought they were both bookings.
What would you say were the main differences in the way we set up and the way we played on Saturday in comparison to last season?
Belief.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's too much different to last season. The bottom line is everyone was just to shoot. I think once we got 50 points, I think Holloway thought we're up. And he did mess about at the time. Like against Brighton at home, he didn't start Freeman, who was our best player at the time. He started someone else to give him a chance. So he thought, look, this is the end of the season, we'll see it out. And people got a little bit nervous, but I never really had any doubts. I think maybe if we'd lost to Forest, I might have had a doubt. But
you didn't have any doubts last season.
We'd get relegated once we hit 50 points. I
can vouch for that.
To be fair, most teams did better than I thought of getting near that 50 points. Blackburn and that, I didn't think we'd get near that. So he give Holloway the benefit of the doubt there. He was mucking about with the team a bit, have a look, but now he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I think tactically there were two things that were a little bit different. One, we definitely went with a lot fewer long balls, and I guess that's because we didn't have Smith on the pitch, so playing long balls to Mackey and Washington isn't as effective. So we were playing a lot through the midfield. And I think the second change was last year, I would say Luongo played more in a deeper role as more of a defensive destroyer in midfield. And he was pushed up because Scowen was basically playing in a deeper role, providing a shield for the back three, allowed the two wing backs to move up the pitch. Sometimes Bidwell was a little bit too far up the pitch for my liking. But no, I think that was the key change was Luongo was kind of occupying that channel down the right-hand flank around like the halfway line, and Freeman kind of had a free role. But Scowen definitely changed everything by allowing to play a little bit deeper.
I don't always buy into stats, but Scowen's a good signing. Most tackles won in the championships last year. Scowen. Most passes made.
Really?
Scowen. So if you want, you can read into what stats and statistics.
We'll read into them for the purposes of pumping up.
But he was, and you get him on a free. That's a good signing.
We got Batista there as well, didn't we?
Yeah, he's had injury problems, but he played. I looked quickly. He played 24 games for Preston last year. Yeah. Preston were quite well organised side last year. Grayson's quite a decent manager, I think.
Yeah, and I think we need another centre back, especially if we're going to play a 3-5-2. I don't think Perch is. He's not really the answer for me.
That was his best performance I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, he was fine.
He didn't try and kill anyone either.
No, that's his like. Yeah.
He didn't, though, did he? And the good thing about having Scarlett inside is that he releases Luongo because then when that shot hit the post, you can see what he can actually do in that creative role that he wasn't able to do last season because, as you say, he was trying to break play up. Where that he was unlucky with that. I mean, Washington's miss.
Also, Conor wasn't playing as wide as they have been. He suits him playing down the middle more.
I think so. That's where he plays for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, bigger than Little. If they're going to play Smith, play him next to him. Because they're not going to play Mackie and Washington every game like that. That's just not going to happen.
No,
so they will play.
Mackie doesn't have the legs for that either.
I was saying that what I did what Mackie did. You know this as well from before. Everyone has seen it. Was when Mackie played in that season we went up. He caused so many mistakes for Tarab and also for Folan to get the ball.
Yeah, but how whole team's like that. Busy. How busy was our midfield on Saturday?
Yeah,
that pressing. They press 6-second rule, press then drop off. They were doing that to good effect. But I don't think really they're very good. No, that's. I mean, they amazed me last year that they'd even made the playoffs.
They looked like Dundee United and they played like Carrick Rangers.
Niche.
Analogies you don't often hear.
No. Right. Now, we have someone waiting for us. No, it's not the pub quiz that Paul has already made it very clear that he's desperate to get to. He's on. Finney is on a hard stop tonight because he's got a pub quiz to get to.
No, I've got two experts in pub quizzes. I'm just a stupid one that buys a beer.
We have the man of the hour on the phone for us, with a bit of luck.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, here he is. Raoul, where were you in America? I'm desperate. Go on. I'm desperate for the answer to be Washington.
New York and New Jersey.
Okay, it's not going to work.
And who is flying back with you?
I shouldn't say.
He shouldn't say, but it was a very high-profile
Condoleezza Rice
politician. Anyway, from New York to Washington, we have on the phone Conor Washington. Conor, thanks for joining us. You very awkwardly just had to field a question from Paul Finney as we were putting the call through about him asking you to go for a pint ahead of the Norway game, but we'll save you from having to answer that.
Have
and
you
we'll
seen
just
the prices of beer in Norway?
It was awkward, Paul. It was awkward, but we'll just go straight into the QPR questions. Conor, congratulations on a great start to the season.
Yeah,
two good goals on Saturday. You and the lads must be very happy with that result.
Yeah, no, we are really happy with the result. It was really important to get off to a good start after the way we finished last year, and not so much the result as the performance was the most impressive, I think.
We'll be honest. I think as fans, we weren't necessarily expecting to get off to such a good start. Let's say. It didn't look like you and the players shared that you came out of the traps pretty well.
Yeah, we were set up like that by the gaffer. I feel like that the formation really suits us, especially the personnel we had on Saturday. He wanted me and Jamie to press from the front and sort of try and disrupt their flow and disrupt their rhythm, which is something we got wrong when we played them in pre-season. So we tried to learn from that, and obviously it worked out.
How did you find lining up with Jamie?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's been great for me. I've played with him a few times, obviously not so much in a two. But we've played together a few times and trained with him every day. He's brilliant to have around the place, and he's been great for me as an experienced striker to learn from. And he's, like I said, he's been great, and I think that showed in his performance on Saturday as well.
Am I right in thinking, Jamie, Conor, that you prefer playing sort of more centrally? Because a lot of times last season you were playing sort of wide left, or sort of nigh on a winger at times. But obviously, we would imagine you feel happier playing sort of near a centre half, really.
Yeah, since I've signed, to be honest, it's been pretty frustrating in terms of how many times I felt like I'd played in my true position.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the gaffer in length sort of at the start of this pre-season and said, listen, this is where I want to play. Obviously, I'm more than willing to do a job for the team, but I just want you to know that that's where I want to play, and that's where I feel most comfortable, confident, and where I feel like I'm going to have the most effect. I mean, that's where I play for Northern Ireland, and I do feel a lot more comfortable making runs from that position, and I think it does show in the games that I have played.
So when you play with Smith, do you like playing like the big and little and type syndrome? Do you think that suits you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just when I play up front on my own, I think it just makes the job a lot easier for the defenders in terms of making runs off the back of one of them behind another one. It just seems to be a lot easier when they're being occupied by another striker, whether that be a big man, whether that be a small man. And obviously, with the way the gaffer wants us to press now, it just makes a lot more sense in the two.
Sorry, Conor, just a quick question. I see our third kit is green. Do you have any input in that at all? Because in a green shirt, you're absolutely dynamite. That's just my own personal opinion, and I'm going to Norway. Just
and matching suspenders.
Yeah, was there a question in there, Paul? Stop fanboying and ask the man a question. Go on.
I'm just saying, because in a green shirt, he was immense. You don't. What was it? All right, talk about Northern Ireland very, very quickly, Conor. What's it like scoring at Windsor when you got that goal? Was it amazing? Because looked
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, no, it was great. It was another one of those milestones where you have to pinch yourself scoring in a World Cup qualifier, and the way we're going, obviously got two really important games coming up in the international break, and
I know I'm going nowhere.
Well, I'll just piss Paul off here because I was in Nice, Conor. I was in Nice, and I was an England fan, and I was there the next day. But I went to the Poland game, and I got in that Paul wasn't at. So I actually watched you made your first Euro appearance, really, didn't I?
Yeah, but I was at every other game after that.
Yeah, but you weren't at that one.
Gobshite. Carry on. Right. So next question.
Raul.
Hey, Conor. Can you walk us through what the penalty was like? Yes. Waiting for 3 or 4 minutes to take your penalty. I was surprised that you blasted it with such confidence after that long wait. But can you walk us through what the penalty was like?
Yeah, to be honest, I've been practicing them a lot in pre-season. I haven't really had too much competition in terms of people saying they want to take them. So I sort of took it upon myself to just keep practicing them every day and sort of try and sow the seed in everyone's mind that I was going to be taking them. And obviously that practice has paid off in terms of how I feel about the penalties now, because I feel comfortable going both ways. And I think in this age where keepers are getting much information thrown at them before every single game about where the ball's going, where it's been, and everything like that, the practice has been really important. So to be honest, I didn't really feel too stressed at all with the weight. I'd sort of decided where I was going to put it, and I wasn't really too fussed about where the keeper was going to go.
Never change your mind.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. At the time, until I watched it back, I couldn't have even told you which way he went.
He wouldn't have got it if it went the right way, to be honest.
What did Manone say to you? Because he came up to you during the wait, didn't he, and said a few things.
Yeah, he threw the ball away, and then I flashed him a big smile because I honestly just felt like he was going in, and I wanted him to know that, and I think he got the message.
Do you know what I think he said to you, by the way, Conor? He said, "Did you know Finney was going to Norway?"
Yes. Raul, go on.
and what did you say to Pavel to take the ball off him, because he looked like he wanted to take the penalty?
Yeah, I was surprised at that, because I wouldn't have said that he would have been a sort of a suspect for that. But yeah, he seemed to want to take it, but I just grabbed the ball and said.
Did he say something like, "I won it, I got the penalty, I take it," something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was along the line.
Brilliant Polish accent, Mel. Brilliant. Considering your wife's Polish. Now, the other thing, Conor, after Saturday, obviously, we're not going to get carried away after one game, but we do expect to win the FA Cup, knock Chelsea out along the way, beat Fulham in a few weeks, and finish London's top club in the Championship. What's your personal ambition? Do you feel that this season we can actually achieve more than what we thought pre-season, or is it just take one game at a time, lads, because of all the fact that we're a wee bit strapped for cash and everything else?
Yeah, I think there's sort of there's an argument for both cases. I think when you look at Huddersfield and you look at Reading from last year, they didn't overspend, weren't tipped for anything special. I mean, I think our gaffer actually said that Huddersfield were going to go down. So,
Yeah, I think I most agreed with him at the time, to be honest.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, obviously, looking back, you just never know. The Championship's such a crazy league, as you all know, and yeah,
You're the
performances
top
like that
scorer at the
with
moment, aren't you? You're the top scorer.
Yeah, I like to keep that. Yeah, I like
Conor,
keep that going for as long as possible.
Conor, how was pre-season? Because you've been at the club a couple of years now, and so you'll probably be aware that this club has a fine and long-standing tradition of signing approximately 25 players every pre-season who've, a couple of them have played half a dozen games for Man United off the bench, and then they kind of are signed on big money and come in and the world is expected of them. Contrast that to this season where practically no new faces, Scowen accepted. How different was that preparation to what you've become used to?
It was really important, I think, that we didn't go out and do that again. There's been a big player turnover, like you said, just since I've been here. But towards the end of last season, when we went on that really good run of, I think it was 7 games where we were 5 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw or something, you could tell that there was something gelling, something knitting together. And it was really important that we came back and went away with each other to Portugal and ran up that hill together, as the gaffer loves to talk about. And like I say, it was really important. And with the lad we did sign, and obviously Alex now as well, and with Josh, he's been a perfect fit in terms of what we want, and been a great lad in the dressing room as well.
And he's a Londoner, isn't he? So I think that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's put a good move for him, obviously, and he's a good player.
Yeah, no, he is. He had a good game Saturday, didn't he?
He's going to be a great signing. I think it's like you said, it's definitely shown improvements already in terms of putting together and not needing to gel 8 or 9 players in at one time.
But we still got 2 weeks till we can still sign another 10 players.
Sorry,
No, go on, Paul.
One other thing. Going back to international football for a second, I mean, what a great season it would be as well to end it in a World Cup in Russia.
If you're a Northern Ireland fan, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Conor.
I didn't quite catch that question.
No, what I'm saying is, this could be a massive year for you, though, couldn't it? Seriously, with the Championship being what it is, and also with Northern Ireland going to Russia, you're never going to be off the TV, big man. Nope.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this year, to be honest.
Good man.
I really feel like it is going to be a big year for me personally. I'm really settled here, and it's like it's going to be a great year for the club in terms of getting where we want to be, and obviously finishing it off with the World Cup will be the icing on the cake. And I just seem to go from fairy tale to fairy tale in this the sort of last 5 years. So why not?
But the one last question from me, Conor, and then I'll let you talk to the other guys who aren't going to mention Norway or Northern Ireland. Does anyone actually score penalties against Smithies in training?
Very rarely, actually.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, he's great. He's great to talk to be honest. For me, to pick his brains about where to put them, where not to put them, and what to do now. I've scored one, etc. So he's been a real sort of secret spy for me in that camp. So, like you say, nobody scores many goals past him in general, as you can probably imagine after his performance on Saturday as well. So.
He's class.
Conor, thank you for coming on. What are your personal goals for this season, and what do you think should be the club's goals for this season?
On a personal note, it's just make myself into the player that I feel that I can be, and cement my place in the squad, and sort of make myself irreplaceable and undroppable, and scoring every single week. So, and then on a
and for the club, how far do you think we can go?
I honestly don't think there's a limit on it. If you look at the players we've got, the experience we've got, and what's happened over the past few seasons, I don't think there can be a limit to where we think we can go. If we keep working as hard as we did on Saturday, and obviously you need the rub of the green in this league. You just never know.
But what difference, by the way, sorry, Conor, did it make with the fans being so one side after the first goal? Does it make a massive difference when everyone starts like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think we, as players, as a group, we definitely felt like we owed them after some of the performances towards the back end of last year. And when it's maybe not even so much the first goal, we set our stall out and we're getting after people and we're harrying and we're creating chances in the first 10 minutes. I think that's what the fans want and that's what the fans deserve. And after that, they really did get behind us, like you said, and it does make a big difference.
Good man.
Conor, thank you for coming on.
Seriously, and thank you for all you've done for QPR this far and the penalty, and see you in Norway.
And thank you for everything you've done for Northern Ireland, is what he meant. And sorry about him.
He helped us qualify for the European Championship.
But it's awkward. It's awkward.
It's not awkward. It's brilliant. Hoops and Northern Ireland is the way forward. But seriously, Conor, if you could grab 20 goals this season, we'll make everyone happy. No pressure, big man.
No pressure at all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
No worries, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on.
Bye-bye.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Shit, I should have told him I was
expecting-
going to Norway.
Ooh, your Northern Ireland friend.
Thank you for everything you've done for the Royal Mail.
Ooh,
was
you're
a
very
postman.
good. I should have said,
I
you see.
See, I thought you just off Dave Anderson, like I would.
Right.
I do.
I'm very concerned about your pub quiz, Paul. So let's get on with it. He's a
grand.
good lad. He's a really good lad, isn't
He's
he?
nice.
No, he come across quite well there.
He
Very
does.
good.
And do you know what? It's nice what he said. He's really happy here. He wants to do well. Brilliant. So despite what everyone says, we do seem to have a happy team
Yes.
of sorts.
Signings. I just want to talk about that before we get into the R's End. So I listened to BBC London on the way to the game on Saturday, and they had an interview with Holloway, which I thought was really interesting. He said, I have effectively made 2 new signings this pre-season.
Ariel Borishuk.
And
It's Josh Gowland.
No.
Stephen Corker.
Potentially, yes. Look, if his head is right, he's
a good player.
He's a good centre half. And if
3 weeks ago, he was out.
yeah, but
wasn't he?
Holloway backed him though, didn't he? He came honest about his problems, like Carlisle type sort of thing. And he's still young enough. He's what is he, only mid-20s, isn't he?
Do you know, you could have a scenario where you could actually have Batiste, Colker.
Baptiste, yeah.
Sorry, Batiste. Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, I know I can't spell or read things.
I was
properly.
clarifying it for
You're all right.
people who haven't
All right.
heard that we'd signed him
Grant
today.
Full when he comes back from injury.
Yeah.
And then who would you give the third slot to? I mean, you know, the Colker has to be surely on merit.
I thought Ned was
knew
very
it. I
good
knew
on
it.
Saturday.
He was. That's the thing. We've
I mean,
actually
the
got
truth is,
competition.
Corker, if his game's right, I like a big centre half, and he's a big centre half.
Yeah.
He is, isn't he?
Christ, I saw him score for England in Sweden. How long ago was that? 5 years ago. He's,
know.
yeah, played
Big
international.
centre half.
He played international football. Became a sub. He scored. He scored against Sweden. He got one
right.
cap and he scored.
They're all big centre halves.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know
he's
how big
No,
Baptiste is.
Corker's bigger. No, Corker's the biggest of a lot of them. Corker's a big bloke. He's about 6'4".
Yeah, I mean, on the Holloway quote, I hate to be that guy, but I do think that's a little bit of spin because there is a big contingent of the fan base that wants more signings. So he's presenting it as if we've made more signings when in reality they're just players who have always been there.
We never
But-
used to be like that.
No, but
Will he
I don't
play
think.
tomorrow?
No,
What's that?
Will he play tomorrow?
Holloway, I doubt it.
No, look, Corker. Look, that's perfect. Look,
Well, it looks like Baptiste is going to play tomorrow because in the last line of the press release on his signing today, it said he is eligible for tomorrow.
But I think it's a bias. We think that the front office isn't doing anything if they're not making any signings. But not making signings is a decision. We're not expanding our wage bill. We already have so many players on our squad. So we really, in my opinion, I think we're good where we are. I mean, we added a center back. I think we needed that. We may need another forward, but
do need another.
midfield
Yes.
is
Yeah,
midfield
we
is
do,
set.
we do.
Midfield is set. I think wingers. We have a decent number of wingers as well. I'm not really, and fullbacks. We have like a zillion fullbacks. I don't think we need any more.
And we've got a
It's-
great goalie.
It's like what Mel said in the pub, which you
I think
didn't.
we've got very good fullbacks. To be honest, but,
You said the pub, didn't you? We send in players in January. People forget that as well. We did have a busy January.
yeah, Luke
And-
Freeman. Look, that's
Yeah.
a Holloway signing. And look, and everyone loves him, don't they? What a great little footballer.
Yeah, best
And,
player.
he,
Skull
and, he,
looks
and,
good
he's,
player.
and he started the season off this Saturday where he finished it last season.
Yeah.
But
And,
did I
and
not-
with Scowen next to him, it helps him immensely. Scowen's a good little
But
guy.
did you not know this something as well? Or maybe it was just me because I'm weird. But I also thought with having a competent midfield the way we had on Saturday, the defence looks so much better, so much more in control, so much less panicky.
There's an argument about continuity as well. They all know each other now. And
Yeah.
on Saturday, look, I'm not to reiterate, Reading I thought were poor, but
Yeah.
our midfield ran the match, and they ran off each other. They knew where they were playing, and they were good. If they carry out in Sheffield on Saturday, I'll be pleased.
Should we stop the season now? For Christ's
Yes.
sake? Can we write someone a letter? It's like North Korea or something. Because it's just in North Korea they win the World Cup every time, don't they? Because that's what they think.
They don't, but Kim Jong Il, was that his name? Kim Jong Il. He did on his first ever round of golf. he got 6 hole-in-ones.
Unbelievable.
It was
What's the
unbelievable.
chances of that,
I
like?
know.
What is the chances of that?
25 under. No, that was the generals in the sea.
Ours End.
Already?
Ours End already. Anything and everything that we haven't mentioned already that you would like to talk about, and then after that we'll do predictions for Northampton and Sheffield Wednesday.
You're very organised, like David. I'm very impressed.
Good. Thank you very much, Paul.
Post
I've
last
missed
week was
you.
shit.
Who would like to start? I'll start whilst you think of yours. I'm the whole pre-season of not signing anyone and then a great performance on Saturday reminded me of what we have said a lot on this podcast. I think it was Clive who said it, but don't quote me on that. There was one time last season we were talking about, should we sign this one? We need to sign this one. And I think it was Clive said, how about they just coach those players? Why don't they not sign anyone and just coach
I think
them?
that was me.
Like Gary Rowett did at Birmingham.
Well, I think-
those players on £5 a week. Not one of those players a couple of years ago was on more than £5,000 a week at Birmingham City.
Really?
I bet you under that they will soon be on a lot more.
And not doing very well.
Football is almost in the era of coaching, or where coaching makes the real difference. You look at the teams that went up. Okay, Newcastle had huge resources, but Brighton didn't. I mean, they all have some resources, but it's not like Brighton spent 30, 40 million. It's not like Huddersfield spent tons. Good coaches go a lot further than big marquee signings.
But also Brighton, people don't realise is, but before they buy a player, they do so much homework on that player. They do so much research on them and everything else. It's not the fairy tale. It's like Bournemouth. It's great.
Yeah, they spent money,
but they know what they're doing.
Don't think they didn't. Don't think they got done FFP.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Well, my other part, I wasn't going to say this, but on FFP, surely now we're fine with FFP.
Nah,
I mean,
probably not.
Paris Saint-Germain, Man City.
Yeah, but it's stopped now, hasn't it? So ours is like a retrospective thing. Is it's going back? I think Rangers just got the heavy duty lawyers on it and just said, look, we'll keep fighting this and fighting this and fighting this until you just go away.
I have a theory, unsubstantiated, that it was settled a long time ago and it's all tied up in a confidentiality clause.
Why?
Because
the public know?
Like
whether they should. It's only a theory.
The 50-year rule, the government 50-year rule.
Right, who's next?
But just go back to FFP. I think it will get done, and we'll probably get hit with a transfer embargo. But if we, well, you don't know. But I mean, I can't say it's getting away with it. There's too many.
Based on
clubs press.
Saturday, I would say great.
But there's
Bring on the embargo.
There's too many clubs after our arse. To be fair, but if we get away with it for a good, I'd love us to get away with it because
I don't think any of the clubs are after us.
oh, they are, Bill. They are. Trust me, they are. Derby's one of them. I can tell you that for a fact.
Is this your
carry on.
Ours End?
No,
Are you sure?
I'm just trying to say something.
Well,
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate how good the streaming service was. I think sometimes the podcast, because the people who are on it are from London, we forget the fans who are abroad in Sweden, Ireland, the US. There was a big contingent
Don't
who was
mention Alan
meeting.
too much.
Yeah.
don't what?
Yeah.
Don't mention Alan too much. Was it the accent, David? Carry on.
But yeah, I think a lot of the fans who are in London always would complain about the games at 12:30 and 5:30 and whatnot, Friday night games. But for fans who are outside of the country, it's a great chance to actually watch the game.
It's a shame you never got to meet the New York lads.
No, I know. I actually would like to meet the QPR New York guys at
They
some
look
point.
class. They
Yeah,
look
no,
amazingly
they
brilliant.
they definitely show up in numbers. But it was really nice now that fans abroad can actually watch the games and really connect. I mean, I was looking on Twitter as I was trying to figure out how to log into QPR Plus, but there was a fan from Liberia, there were fans from Minneapolis, Indiana, India, Sweden. So it's really nice that those fans now can really feel the connection to the club that people who actually get to go to the games.
Better to do.
Paul.
That's of course Bill's own personal opinion. Dodgy VPN or whatever. Anyway, my R's End is.
I don't want to know about your dodgy VPN.
Listen, I've got dyslexia, mate. I don't even know what that is. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone on Saturday for the way that the 2 hours that got in the River hours were done on the pitch, and the reception that Goddard got was amazing. I mean, people talk about
Bedford.
Right, do that again.
No, don't do it again. Carry on.
We need better reception.
That Bedford got. Yeah, we know who you meant.
I'd pull Goddard in my head for some reason. Oh yeah, sorry. Brian Bedford was amazing, but also David Seaman. Although someone did shout out behind me, Judas, which is a bit weird. And it's up to him.
I think they were talking to you, mate.
Probably. But it was nice, and I think...
No, we haven't signed Judas yet.
what we don't do. I mean, I will slag the club off, and I'm right sometimes, I'm wrong sometimes. But the River Hours is one of the best things this club's done for a very, very long time, and long may that continue. It's we're doing a lot of good things off the pitch, and it makes me very proud of the moment. Even if I do get names wrong, I'm going to get a book and learn to read.
And you're also, when we stop recording, you're going to be unbearable because you're going to say, take out that edit where I said Goddard instead of Bedford.
Do you know what someone said?
And you're going to say, edit it. We're not going to edit it.
Okay.
You heard it.
I had an awkward moment the other week when someone said, do you know what's wrong with football these days? And you're sort of sitting there going, Jesus Christ, what the Premier League playing for
Northern Irish fanboys?
This is it. Playing like Liverpool playing Man U in friggin' Thailand, Arsenal playing Spurs
Cole
in
Henry,
Malaysia.
the Rangers.
Ronald
All these things.
McDonald.
He goes, it's when you go to non-league games and some hipster bastard walks in and asks for gluten-free beer. And I'm like, oh, this is awkward. And this is like, yeah, that's just shocking.
Last time you got a Dulwich Hamlet.
Modern football is shite. Anyway, yeah, if you listen to QPR, gluten-free beer, we do. No, but seriously, we do give them a lot of hammer them off the pitch a lot, but they've done a lot of good things at the press team. I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but they've done well this year. We've really set the plate. And new signings, everything. I'm positive.
Do you like Ian Taylor yet? 7th year of this podcast. Are you prepared to admit that he is a friend of yours?
I think he's listening to the podcast and getting the right idea.
Has he got big tits?
Mel.
That'll be it.
Paul?
We'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday Saturday. If we can get, I think all of us will settle for a point now. I think if we'll all settle for a point now. Sheffield Wednesday are a decent side, and they've got.
Have you seen the strikers they got?
Yeah. And I must admit, looking at our team, we're not a particularly big side at the moment. Midfield's fairly young. I don't say they don't have to be 6 footers, but we're not. But I like the shape of our midfield was very good on Saturday, and I think we may start with a different 11 at Sheffield on Saturday. We might play Smith on Saturday away from home. I've got a feel it won't be. That's not going to be the same 11 every week, but they got it right on Saturday. So people say Holloway's an idiot, but he's not always. So and it's all we got. So we got to stick with him.
That's a backhand that cut him in the
face. Yeah, it is. Look, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Predictions then for Northampton tomorrow, which many people will be listening to this podcast after the Northampton game, so it'll be hilarious. And Sheffield Wednesday. Paul?
Well, we have to go out every cup match in the first round because otherwise we might actually cause like real weird things in Shepherd's Bush where people actually think we might actually go to a cup run. Who knows? We should beat Northampton, but we probably won't. Wednesday, I reckon we'll go there and get a point because that would be a bloody good result to come away with a point. If we get a win, fantastic.
Okay, and a prediction for either?
I would say we'll probably lose 1-0 against Southampton and we'll beat Wednesday 2-1. And also, I think the week after that,
I will go for, I think we'll smash Northampton.
Depends what team we put out.
I think 3-0, and I think we will draw 1-1 with Sheffield Wednesday.
How long have you watched QPR?
Mel?
How long are you watching QPR, Mel? And you're saying we're going to smash Northampton?
The bottom line is, maybe Holloway might surprise us and put a team out tomorrow, and then they might win 3 or 4-0 against Northampton, which they should. But if they put 11 different players out, don't expect this. You know.
What's your prediction
for Northampton?
Both
I think
games.
We'll beat Northampton 2-1, and at Sheffield, I think we'll lose 2-1.
By the way, before we go to Rahul, people may not know this, but Mel's dad played. Yes, no, on Open All Ours, it's him that did the theme tune.
The original one, yeah.
The original one, yeah. So that's a very tedious link to the podcast, but it's a start.
As in the Ronnie Barker sitcom, Open All Hours.
Original,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, your dad played in that, didn't he?
It, yeah.
Very good.
And he played
very recognisable.
Did your dad go out with Sammy Davis Jr. once as well?
Sammy Davis Jr. used to do an impression of my dad.
No.
Which apparently was very funny, but it'd be on YouTube or something these days, so it's not... obviously wasn't seen. But
and what did your dad have? Your dad had a great name for Chelsea, didn't he?
North Battersea.
I love that.
So your dad was on Open All Hours,
and
you've been on Open All Hours
more than once.
Raoul, your prediction.
My dad has one YouTube video on Indian cricket. If anyone wants to look it up, please reach out to me. But
we have to tweet that. We have to tweet.
Is it a good one?
It's terrible. I recorded it. It wasn't very good.
Do you like cricket?
No, not at all.
No, not me.
But on my prediction,
I love it when you're in America and there's basically like you go to a park and there's like 10 Indian kids playing cricket.
Yeah,
and it's
11 actually.
One. You need not necessarily
on
11.
one side.
Because, yeah. Anyway, because it's so incongruous with the whole surroundings and
I think
everything.
you just got served then.
No, well, I didn't actually, but I don't want to pick apart.
It's great when they don't have to wear gloves.
I actually didn't, but I don't. We don't have. It's so boring for me to pick apart why it would either 10 or 11 would be. It doesn't matter. If you see what I mean? Because it's either 22.
Yeah,
you actually meant 22.
That's why.
didn't
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
I played rounders. Is that similar?
Anyway, predictions.
I think for the Northampton match, I'd really like to see Ezzy or Easy play, see what he can do. But I think we'll win. We'll win 2-0, and then Sheffield Wednesday. I'll take a 1-0 win it as well.
Take you by the bloody handle.
That'll do. Anything else you feel you have to say, Paul?
No, just again wishing.
Read out your love letter to Conor Washington.
No. Anthony Ryan, get well soon, big man. That's all I've got to say. And also the person that spoke to me after the game. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge you, and I didn't mean to be rude, but I was quite shocked.
This has been Open All Ours. Thank you very much.
UPR, UPR, 3 Park Rangers are on the